lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with all the Flat Earth Debate pre-show and after-show goodness. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below this video. Now, a little bit late setting up today, so I'll check and see if we actually do have anybody in the Hangout. Yes, we do. Hey, Slick. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you faintly.
Faintly? Oh, okay.
Wait a minute, maybe my volume's too low.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks good at this end.
Okay, yeah, I just turned my volume up. Yeah, I can hear you better.
As always, I'm actually just about to make a cup of coffee, so I'm a bit late setting up.
But
so.
you know, but Nathan, your volume is cutting. It's like low and it's giving little sharp spikes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How's that?
Like when you just said, "Oh, really?" I could barely hear you.
Yeah, it's because for some reason the Hangout have me set to absolute minimum. I don't know why. And it's got you set to absolute minimum as well. That's weird. There's been a whole bunch of weird stuff that's happened since I've turned my computer on. For a start, it's all in dark mode. So every window's now got a black rather than a white top to it.
Yeah, your voice spiked again, like there are these little sharp psh, psh, coming in.
Okay. Check. 1, 2. Could be your end.
Like
Seems fine. Seems fine this end.
It did it again. Like you said, check, 1, 2. That was quiet. Then all of a sudden you came in loud. Then it went back.
I think
to
it's
low
something
again.
to do with the Hangout, because it's definitely had some adjustments made to it overnight. So, as I say, when you entered and when I entered, both our volumes are on 0, which is weird. But my desk is also gated anyway, so that could be partially the problem. But I think they've just changed the gating in Google Hangouts. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it, and I'll have to listen back once it goes live so I can actually monitor it on the iPad. But for now...
I got you. Yeah, because maybe what I'm hearing is not what's being heard out there, but what's happening is your voice is low, and then it'll spike in loud and go back low again.
Yeah, that does sound like they've changed the gate within Google.
Okay.
Because certainly
now
from this end. Certainly from this end,
wait a
the
minute.
desk says it's all
now
fine.
you're fine. You're fine all of a sudden.
Well, when a Hangout first starts up, that can also happen. When somebody first joins, they get a load of feedback and echoing. Right, we've only got 5 minutes, so I'm going to run off and get my coffee sorted.
Okay. Hello, hello. Hello, I hear you coming in loud and clear.
Cool, man. How are you tonight?
Fine, and yourself?
Yeah, good. Just trying to render a video, but bloody Adobe keeps crashing on me. It's being a pain.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
What have you been up to?
Nothing much, just the same old. I live a very basic
You there, man?
Oh yeah, I hear you, but you had some noise.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I've just got my kid in the background there. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Is my mic coming in like too loud?
Just a little bit, yeah.
Let me just turn it down a bit. How's that?
It's okay. It's not, it's not too loud, but it's still just a tad bit, but not really.
Okay. How's that?
That sounds pretty good. It's just that you're rustling it or touching it or something also at the same time.
Right, there we go.
Okay, so now just say something without.
Hey man, how are you?
Okay, there you go. Perfect.
Sweet. Oh yeah, I felt sorry for you the other night, man. Yeah, felt like you were getting slightly attacked for. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't quite sure what was going on the other night.
Well, actually, that's not a problem because I'm used to that. I understand it. I know what it's about. So, it's not new to me. In other words.
All good, man. Yeah, I'm obviously a flat earther, but I don't mind either way. I just like to just try and do observations and respect people either way. Neither here nor there, really, for me. So I just think people need to respect each other, eh?
Yeah, it's all just information. What's up, Alan?
Hey, friend.
Hey.
Hey, man. How you doing?
Hey, good. Morning. Off to work.
Uh-oh.
I'm just going to go quiet for a bit. I've just got to try and finish this video.
Go ahead. I'm gonna go on mute myself till.
Can you say a few more words, Flat and Earth?
Check 1 2 sibilance. Check. Check 1 2 sibilance. Check.
Lovely, thank you.
Morning.
I've got to do that now. Check.
How you going, Nathan?
How you doing, Mind Warped? Saw your video this morning. Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, I'm just adding that line into it now, trying to get it up. If my
Sleeping
computer
Warrior.
will stop crashing.
Hey.
Hey.
You're not live yet, are you?
Seconds.
Did you just two quick questions? Did you listen to that voice conversation I sent to you?
I downloaded it. I haven't listened to it yet. No, it took a while to download for some reason.
120 meg. The other thing is, let me introduce this dude from yesterday's show. I asked if people could go and repeat the observation of that heliocentric suicide. Let me introduce him and then just tell the audience what's happening.
What, when we go live?
Yeah.
Yeah, you mean Mind Warped, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to this channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. Now we are joined by Slick James Johnson, Sleeping Warrior, Mind Warped and Flatten Earth.
G'day,
Good
g'day.
morning. Hi.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. So just before we started the live show, Anthony asked me to give a specific introduction to Mind Warped, because Mind Warped has replicated an observation made by heliocentric suicide, another flat earther, who was essentially showing his drone footage with a fixed gimbal, just raising in altitude. So without further ado, I don't know if you want to get into that before we start the housekeeping. Sleeping Warrior and Mind Warped, over to you.
Yeah, so yesterday's show, I presented heliocentric suicide's video that was basically probably the simplest, but it might be the most powerful and influencing test that's been done so far that I'm aware of. And all he did was he rose his camera on his drone up, and in doing so, he observed the horizon appears to rise, not just rise with him, but it rose relative to a fixed point in the viewfinder. Now, if we're on a sphere, it can't do that. It has to start dropping. And the ball earthers claim that always, the horizon doesn't rise to eye level, does it? Because it doesn't quite get to eye level. But it should be relative to what the camera's pointing at. So if the camera's pointing at somewhere, if you rise in your elevation, it should drop. So I put out a request yesterday for anybody that had a drone to repeat it and see did they get the same results. So I've asked deep inside the rabbit hole, would he have a go at it? And he said he would do, but visibility's been naff. Obviously, Ranty's been reporting naff visibility as well. Effie Perth, he's another one that's got a drone. And our friend that's on the panel, Mind Warped, has now repeated it to get the same results. And basically, all we're going to do is present the results he got and get him to talk through. Does it confirm or does it not confirm the claim by heliocentric suicide that the horizon appears to rise as he gains elevation? Because if it rises, the ballers are going to have to explain this, because it can't do that on a sphere. We're going to have to know what the science is on their nonsense model to explain this. Not that, of course, we're going to accept it, but we'd like to know what is the explanation, because it has to drop. So, Mind Warp, do you want to present your screen and show us what you got?
I would love to, but my Adobe is freezing and I can't seem to close it. So can you give me a few seconds?
Yeah, man.
But yeah, my observation is rising. I don't know if you want to play my video in the background while I try and do this. And then what I'll do, I'll try and upload a line going through in about 5 minutes, if that's okay.
Yep. So what I'll do then, Nathan, is I will get it on screen. Hang on a sec. So present screens, application window would be this one. And then share that one.
While you're doing that, the horizon does rise with you. Just want to check that out there.
I know,
but it does rise on this one. Yeah.
The ballers don't say that. The ballers say, yeah, it's not quite eye level, though, is it? And it's not, and that's probably because of visibility on the day. But it's not. Where is it? Is it that one?
So this observation I did today, this was with my smaller drone. So this is a Spark. So you've got to take into account this smaller drone, the gimbal on it. It does have correction for wind, but it's only limited. So a couple of times there were a few gusts of wind where the drone moved around a bit. But other than that, it's level. There's been no forward or back.
Yeah, I'm gonna get right
gimbal.
Mac, you're making a load of noise. You need to have a bit more discipline with the mute button, my friend.
I think it's Travis.
No, it's Mac. I'm watching his line dance up and down.
Sounds like someone's in the shopping centre or something. There we go.
He's in a yeah, sounds like someone's in a shopping centre.
Yeah, so this video that I did today, I basically flew up. There's no gimbal movement forward or back. I can promise you that. This is completely and utterly forward-facing gimbal, no movement. Obviously, with the wind going sideways, the gimbal is going to try and auto-correct the horizon level just from moving sideways, which is normal. I've not changed the gimbal position. So if you want to chuck that on Tony, and then I'll try and get my Adobe to stop crashing, and I'll get this line through there.
I've got your old one on, the one that I told you to put the lines on or the arrows on.
Yeah, cool. I've got the line going on this new one now, but it's just not rendering. So as soon as that's done, I'll pop it up and I'll show you.
Well, basically, the point is, so basically what we need to tell people is, A, drones seem to be doing something really useful for us. And if you've got a drone, you can repeat it yourself and see what you get. And B, if you've not checked out Heliocentric Suicide's channel, I gave a plug for it yesterday. Go and check that out because that's really, this is where it kind of started for me. And then Mind Warped has gone and repeated it. So let's go to Heliocentric.
It doesn't matter how high you go with the drone. The horizon rises with you. It always does. You can see it straight away.
Yeah, it shouldn't do. Oh, and just he asked me yesterday what did I think about his video, and my answer was, well, it seems so good to be true that they're going to have to explain it because I don't understand how it's possible that. I'm just trying to find the one that he's put. Oh, there it is. I don't understand how it's possible that this can happen on a sphere because it has to start dropping at all times. So it's like, come on, ballers, you're gonna have to explain this, but also not just explain it, repeat it. We want to validate it. We want to see that this works. And he basically compared and contrasted it with Walter Bistlin's magic calculator. And on this occasion, it didn't support the sphere at all. It shows that it drops completely as you start rising. And this is what the point is. So it's like, well, what's going on here? So let's get some ballers to repeat this observation. Does it do the same thing? And if it does, what's the explanation for it? Because you're not going to get away with it's just the size of the ball. It's that big that you're never going to notice it. It should start dropping at all times as you start gaining elevation, because we do accept that the horizon does drop below eye height at high altitudes, but it's not that much. But it certainly shouldn't start rising.
Flat or globe, whoever is going to do this test for themselves, it's always going to rise up with them.
That's what we've got to test. So FE Perth, if you're out there listening, we need you to do this as well. And
well, he's going to get the same observation as me because that's where I am. I'm in Perth as well. So
I know, but it might be something to do with your magic bullshit camera or something. You know what the balls are like. They don't like one claim, and to be honest, I like to see more than one as well. If it can be repeated and other people can get the same results, then that's adding credibility to the claim, isn't it?
Yeah, this is my video is unedited. I've done nothing to it. It's just a standard DJI Spark, and then I've done a second one with my Mavic Pro, which is a 4K, so it's a lot sharper. But I haven't had a chance to do that one today. So I've flown it. I've got the footage, but I haven't made the video. I'll probably upload that one tomorrow.
Cool. Right, housekeeping.
Any signs of Earth curvature? Hey, Paul.
Hello, sir. Hello.
No, we've got a weird-looking horizon that doesn't do what it should do on a curved ball.
No, it doesn't drop away as you would expect if you were rising above a curved surface that would eventually turn into a ball. You'd expect it to incrementally become more and more curved until it became that ball that they show us. But alas, the horizon rises with eye level and it's flat.
Yeah, so no evidence for curve.
Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety again?
Definitely no signs of axial. Anybody seen any axial rotation?
Hey, Ebon.
No.
Nothing.
Hey,
That's a
Ebon.
negative.
You hear us?
No axial rotation. So do the stars prove axial rotations? Anyone got an answer for that?
No.
No.
There you go.
Don't even know what the stars are, let alone what they do.
Unless you assume your outcome. Presume the Earth is a sphere with northern and southern hemispheres. Some people can't get over it, they just have to do it.
I finally got it to render, guys, so give me 5 minutes and that video will be up.
Yay!
Hey, Bon.
Good morning. How's it going?
Very well indeed. Good to have you.
Make Earth globe again, by the way, Mega.
Say again?
Make Earth globe again.
Make
Mega.
Make Earth globe again?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
I'm
crap.
good. Hey, 10th man.
Good morning.
So I'm assuming
Hey, Jeff, man, how you doing, man?
Good, thanks.
So I'm assuming that Ebon must be
Hey,
a ball
Flat
earther
Earth
then.
2.75. How you doing?
No, I want ballers to make me a
Hold on,
glober
Ebon.
again.
Sorry, I've got a sniper. Is anybody watching the back chat?
Oh, no. I didn't have it open. Shit. Are we going to get kicked? Maybe.
Maybe. We'll see.
What name was it, Nathan?
Flat Earth 2.75.
He's gone.
Hey, 10th man. Can you just say another hello just so I can level you up?
Yeah, I'm right here. Check one. Check one.
Hey, Physics. How you doing?
Are you there, Slick?
Boom.
Good to have you. That was easy.
Hey, Nate. Hey, panel.
Right, moving on. Let's get this show back on track. So, any signs or any scientific evidence of gravity?
No way.
No, they can't even give us a consistent and reliable, dependable definition, let alone a demonstration showing anything, doing anything. So, no.
Gravity is all made up. They did without it for centuries and then never needed it. And all of a sudden Newton comes along and it became a necessity. Just all made up.
Made up.
Newton was pretty keen not to have gravity attributed to him, though, wasn't he?
Epistemology for gravity is gravitas, and the Latin word for gravitas means weight.
And let's not forget that in mathematics, weight has little g. Only in mathematics.
Archimedes' principle also had G, even though he came up with it 250 BC.
What do you mean Archimedes' principle also had g?
Just look up the mathematical equation.
Yeah,
Of
like I said, it
Archimedes'
only
principle.
exists in maths. Archimedes' principle was displacement. If you get in a bath full of water and then you displace the water that's in it, it'll represent the volume of you.
But it also needs to know the displacement volume, or you could just it's basically trying to measure the displacement force, and for a force it needs a force, so gravity is that force.
No, I think you're mixing something up here. Do you want to show us your citation for the Archimedes principle with little g?
Yeah, give me a second here.
Sure. I like this conversation.
Me too.
It's weighty.
Yeah.
Well, this will be a new one on me, so hopefully Ebon will bring it up and we can have a little look at it.
I'd like a little look at it as well.
I'd let it be a weight off my shoulders.
I love it how weight's a force for people like the Rumpus. Can't demonstrate the force, but they claim it's a force anyway.
Wouldn't they have to prove that it's a force? Wouldn't that be part of it?
Yeah, it has to satisfy the definition of force, like an interaction, a push or a pull.
So there's a lot of images. You can pick pretty much any one that has the formula itself. Here's Archimedes' principle here. Actually, that one doesn't. That one has a different one.
That one's not got
the
G.
typical ones usually have G.
So what just happened there was moving the goalposts.
Hold on.
So here's
he didn't find what he was looking for, so he dropped
it. B minus FG. It's at the bottom. There you go.
All right. So
FG
Archimedes' principle. This is by Slide Player. Says that if an object of volume object is totally submerged in a fluid of density P fluid, the upward buoyant force is B equals P fluid G V object. Of course, the downward gravitational force is F of G equals M of G equals P object G V object.
Sure,
and
but this is
Archimedes' principle was based on Archimedes way back in 250 BC.
Oh, I just realised I can't do that. Hang on, I'll have to open up a new window. Bear with me.
Sure, but have you got a citation where Archimedes is using G? Or is it just people translating the mathematical value of G into Archimedes' principle? Because that's very different.
Archimedes' principle is just, I mean, he wrote in on floating bodies, so they just citing just the particular parts.
Just do me a favour. Go back to that last page that you had. Have a look at that. See, it says Archimedes' principle says that if an object of volume V is totally submerged in a fluid of density, the upward buoyant force is maths, and of course the downward gravitational force is. I love how they put "of course." And the downward gravitational force is maths. If the object is floating, submerged, and not moving by Newton's second law in the vertical direction, maths, the net force must be zero. Right. So, Nathan, would you mind presenting my screen?
Sure.
This is just to respond to that. So you can. This is aimed at just our friend here. On yesterday's show, I brought up the Galileo thermometer, which is interestingly, it's objects that are fully submerged in liquids. And in this Galileo is the guy that invented, well, is said to, or is credited to invent numerous or spot numerous different astronomical things. And I think he did have a view on what shape the Earth was, although I actually can't remember it. But what he says in here is. Where is it? It says the Galilean thermometer works on the principle of buoyancy. Buoyancy determines whether objects float or sink in a liquid and is responsible for the fact that even boats made of steel float in water while solid bars of steel sinks. Now, this is the bit that contradicts your citation that you just brought up. Your citation had a load of maths. This one says the only factor that determines whether a large object rises or falls in a particular liquid is the object's density relative to the density of the liquid. No maths, no little g. If the object is denser than the liquid, it sinks. As it is heavier than the liquid, it displaces. That's a bit like displacement of Archimedes. If it is less dense, it floats on water and will be partially submerged until the weight of the displaced liquid becomes equal to the object's weight. So what I'm saying is not that you're right or wrong, but what the point I'm making is that on the one hand, you've got a citation with maths on it that supports your position. I've got a citation on something that's not got any maths in it that supports my position. So which one should we accept?
Well, it's not my position. It's the position that anyone looking into Archimedes' principle will see, especially if they use Google for top results.
Sure, that is my point, though. And I know it's not your position. I'm just saying that this doesn't support the citation that you presented, because your citation is with maths, and this citation says that the only factor that determines whether an object rises or falls is the object's density relative to the density of the liquid. No maths, no little g. So which one do we, if we're looking into this objectively, do we accept? Is it the one with maths and little g? Or is it the citation that says that it's got nothing to do with that? It's only relative to the density of the liquid? I'm just saying I'm confused.
Yeah. So am I.
Can you agree that the contradictory?
The point was that he said they use little g. There it is.
No, there it's not. There's no little g in there. It just says the only factor that determines whether a large object rises or falls is the object's density relative to the density of the liquid. There's no little g in there. So I agree that when you look up the citation that you relied on, it had little g in it. Well, I've just got you one that says the only factor in it is to do with relative density.
Yeah, I mean, they've been building ships until Newton came along, where they were able to carry up to like 450 tons. So obviously they knew how to build ships to carry things that are very heavy without knowing the mass, let's say.
It's a lovely story, that. Doesn't prove gravity, though, does it? It doesn't prove that they use little g in calculations. That is the difference between a boat sinking and a boat not sinking. I would suspect the design has got more to do with that than little g. But we know what the value of little g was in terms of Cavendish, because he quantified the gravitational attraction between masses to be 1/50 millionth of the object's mass. So I'm thinking 50 millionth isn't that much. If you were to make a design that had a 50 millionth tolerance, that 50 millionth is not going to be that much on any object. I don't think anything would ever collapse if you didn't account for that 1/50 millionth that they call gravity, according to Cavendish. And then that was replaced and superseded, in fact, by Einstein, who gave it parts in a trillion. Now, a trillion's got 12 zeros in it. That's quite a big number. I don't know how many parts means parts, but 2 or 3, 4 maybe. You're still looking at like an insignificant amount that was attributable to this so-called attraction, gravitation attraction.
Hey, Anthony.
Yep. Yo.
Why do you think they still call it theory of gravity versus the law of gravity?
Because they redefine the definition of theory in science so that they can use their own obscure one rather than the one that everybody else uses and accepts. It's a bit like what they do with the evolution argument when they define species. They give species a weird definition that nobody else ever uses, just so that they can allow evolution to exist.
Can I just add something to that? Sorry, gravity is neither a law nor a scientific theory. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, that's my point, Nathan. So when Anthony said, and I know why he said it, because this channel is always seeking to find truth in every topic that we discuss. But when he said, I'm confused, he just answered it. The confusion is because someone is lying about something. So he's not really confused. I know he's not, but I just want to make that clear.
Touche.
Anything else on gravity? Still no
For
scientific
me,
no scientific evidence for it, or?
And can I just say that the word touche was used totally in context then, and when you use it in context, it's far more potent than when you get it wrong and you just think that you're acknowledging humor. Just saying. Everybody misapplies the word touche.
Well, your new name is D'Artagnan.
Touche is what you say at the beginning of a sword fight.
No, he said touche. He's the Three Musketeers.
Touche is when you acknowledge somebody's wit with sarcasm or appreciation.
Any more on gravity? Or should we move on?
Bugger all on gravity.
Yeah. Well, one last thing. Looking at the screen again, this is the Wikipedia. Their maths have it as, in simple terms, the principle states that the buoyant force of an object is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the object, or the density of the fluid multiplied by the submerged volume times the gravity. And if this was set up way back, I doubt it was set up way back in Archimedes' time, because they needed G. But if they're referencing this is how you can calculate it now, I don't know how if it was then. But couldn't you figure out G by knowing P and V, and which is density of the object and the volume?
Yes.
So they could have had the figure of gravity, or at least the calculation of gravity, by just knowing the density of an object, and that density of an object is kind of arbitrary, isn't it?
Excellent, well rounded out. Yes, you're absolutely correct. Right, we'll move on that note. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No evidence, Nathan. Nope.
I am so glad that someone is not here to speak on the sun right now.
Nope, light in the sky. Don't know how far it is.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Nothing.
Nope.
None here, Nathan.
Nope.
Any evidence that you can have a gas pressure, like we all breathe, next to a vacuum?
Absolutely
no evidence
not.
that I am aware of.
Nope.
No, not here.
Last but not least, any evidence of the presuppositional R value, Earth radius?
Nothing that I'm aware of.
Would have to be the longest tape measure in the world.
You can just use two sticks, and you'll
how are you gonna
figure it
how
out.
are you going to use a tape measure for radius? Spherical radius. How are you going to get that? With a tape
No
measure?
idea. Maybe in a roundabout way.
You're not. Deepest hole, 12 kilometers. So, yeah. You ain't running a tape measure to the center of the Earth with that.
I thought I can use a calculator for this.
For the presupposition of a radius value?
Yes, yes.
Well, yes, you can presuppose that it's a sphere and then calculate the circumference of the sun and then presuppose it's traversing the outside edge of a sphere, and that gives you a spherical radius value. Yes, you can use maths to do that, but it would ultimately hang on the presupposition that Earth is a sphere to begin with.
Okay, so I'll be dangling with that presupposition. Thank you, Nathan.
Well,
Anytime.
not only that, but every time you rise, as we saw in the video of the drone, the horizon keeps coming up. So how would you ever get around it?
You don't. Earth's not a sphere. The Earth is obviously unobservably flat.
Okay, guys, so I've finished the video if you want me to screen share it.
Excellent timing. That concludes the housekeeping. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, sorry, just got the intro on there.
Yeah, just leave it
While
running.
he's getting ready.
Just leave it running. Perfect.
I'll just say I was wrong. Owen Benjamin did have an interview with a flat earther. I thought he never would. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I watched it this morning.
No,
Oh, yeah. He interviewed DITRH last night. I thought it was well done.
Okay, you'll have to excuse the text not fitting correctly on screen.
Oh, is it not fitting on there?
It's not. It's my fault.
Just saying how crummy my backyard is and to excuse it.
Okay, so this is an edited version with a marker drawn on it, is it?
Yeah, this is. See, the marker's coming on now.
Oh, I see.
Oh.
You can see the wind just blowing it sideways, so like the horizon moves just a little bit, but the gimbal has not changed. But
it's higher on the left than it is on the right. I see.
Yeah, it's only because the sideways wind is just affecting my drone, but the gimbal can't correct it enough because it's only my smaller drone. But there's no gimbal movement forward and back. So.
In case
but once I use my larger drone, that shouldn't affect it so much.
Just so there's going to be people in the audience that may not been aware of this. Now, there's no gasps from the panel because we are all acutely aware of what is happening on screen right now. Yes, the horizon rises with you. We are indeed on a flat plane. The Earth is not falling away because it's not a ball.
Yep, and it's clearly demonstrated here. I've got a flight limit restriction on my drones. I can only fly up to 120 meters. So this is maxed out at 120 meters. So I'd love to go higher, but yeah, just can't.
So let's just be clear on what is the issue. It's not that it's not falling away at a consistent rate. It's that it's rising. It shouldn't rise.
Yeah,
now I'm coming back down and the horizon's falling back down with it.
You can calculate in MetaBunk's advanced calculator how much the horizon will bend at ground level. Now, it's by pixel, it's a very tiny amount, but ultimately speaking, the assertion is made that we live on a ball, and that ball would be curving at some degree from ground level. Now, at the other end of this extreme bullshit that is the heliocentric religion, you've got this ball in a vacuum. Now, that picture's called the blue marble, and that picture is exactly as described. A ball in a vacuum, a circular ball. That's how you see it, at least on screen. Now, if you have a transition from ground level, where you are supposed to be able to see the curve of the Earth to a tiny degree with a massive zoom, from ground level to that ball should transition the entire journey. So it wouldn't matter if it's 100 meters in this instance, you should see the transition from flat or from a very tiny, tiny curve to more and more curve, with it falling away from you incrementally as it turns into that ball of a picture of a blue marble. It doesn't. The horizon rises with you as you rise because you're looking across a plane.
Can't help but look at your houses and think, I'm expecting Carl and Susan to come round the corner any second.
Thank you very much for sharing that with us, Mind Warped.
No worries.
Can I ask a quick question?
Love it.
And then you go and ruin it at the end.
No, that was cool. That made my day.
Sorry, I had to do it, eh?
No, thanks again. That's
Can I ask
really
a question real
appreciated.
quick? Can I ask him a question real quick?
Yeah, man.
It's kind of about help.
Man.
What's the distance from your house to the shoreline?
Oh, okay. Let me work that out right now. Hang on.
It looks about a mile.
How long does it take you to
Yeah,
walk
it's
to the
not
beach?
far.
How long does it take to walk?
If I walk, Well, it's literally like a 2-minute drive. So hang on, let me just.
I quite liked you till you said that. Now I basically hate you.
Yeah. Is it a premium for
I mean,
real estate where you live?
And how's the weather over there now?
What was that? Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna.
How's the weather now?
Where I am.
Yep.
Well, what is it? It's 9:30 at night, so it's yeah.
I think they mean.
Bit
I think
dark.
they mean.
But the weather's good.
seasonally.
I mean, it's clear weather during the day.
I think they mean seasonally because you're on your way to getting cooler while we're getting hotter.
Yeah, we're heading into winter.
I do have kind of a purpose for why I asked that question. It's not that I'm just trying to be pedantic or anything. I'm actually have a purpose. So is it about a mile, you think? 2 miles to the shore?
I'll show you right now. I'm just getting it up on Google Maps, but because I'm doing rendering in the background on Adobe, it's taking up heaps of my RAM. So bear with me. Sorry.
I got you.
I'll be 2 secs.
No, that's fine. I just didn't want to lose sight because I was going to show there's an exponential aspect to it, and I was going to try to talk about that.
I won't put my exact address in there, obviously, but I'll go close to.
An estimate is all really needed.
Yeah.
I was guessing about a mile from what I could tell. That's what I was guessing.
Yeah.
Is that a yes? It's roughly a mile.
Yeah, it's 1.7 k's to the beach.
Yeah, 1.6 is a mile.
So 1.7, almost 2 miles.
No, 1.7 k.
No, it's about a mile.
Okay.
Yeah.
1.06 miles.
Okay. So
yeah,
okay,
if you want to be specific, it's 1.08 miles.
Okay. Well, so that means roughly from your house to that shoreline, that it should start dropping at least 8 inches. And the higher you go, the further you see. So it should drop exponentially because you can see further.
Shout out to
just trying to get people to vision. What's that?
Yeah, there should be significant. If we're on a ball, it should be dropping significantly. Yeah.
Right. So the further you go, the further you can see, the further it should be dropping. So that's all. Just a mathematical thinking about it.
Yeah.
I know that's what Nathan was saying. I was just trying to make it more simple.
Also, what's interesting is that we're not using any maths. We just threw a number in based on our perspective, and we're what, 0.06?
I didn't quite catch that. What was that?
Yeah, you've got a weird mic. It just seems to start really quiet, and then when I level you up, you blast the mic out. It's weird. It's not you. It's the Hangout.
What I'm trying to say is that I want to shout out to perspective. Is that we're what 0.06 off based on the math? We didn't even use any math. We just use our site.
You want me to screen share my 4K from today? I haven't done any line on it or anything like that, but I can screen share that if you like.
Yeah, hell yes, please.
Okay, cool. I'll put it up now.
In the dryer. All right. This is what, the third, fourth day already?
Who's going on about the dryer?
Now that's real housekeeping.
Yeah.
I think it's Physics Warrior.
That's funny. That is housekeeping, yeah, literally.
We've only got your
I'll give you an update why
we've only got your
it
desktop
took me
at
a
the
while to
moment.
get my video up today. It's because we were doing a few renos at home, and my wife was helping me take one of the roller doors down, and it fell down and it broke her arm, so I had to rush it to emergency.
No.
So sorry for the delay in getting the video up.
We've just got your desktop, just so you know.
Yep, I'm just trying to find the file. This is the 4K. So I started the recording up higher and then came down, then flew up. So I fly up, fly down, and then I do my gimbal down all the way and then up all the way to show you that my gimbal placement has gone all the way up, maxed out. And then I fly back up again. So this is a lot longer shot, this one. And 4K.
It might be good for the audience, and especially me, because I'm not sure what a gimbal is. Explain what a gimbal is supposed to do and what it does in a drone. That way
so
they
a
can
gimbal,
understand what's going on when you see gimbal.
Well, if you didn't have a gimbal on a drone, you would have shaky footage, basically. So there's computer chips in there that like react. So if there's a wind blowing forward, the gimbal will bring the camera to counteract it, basically, so you get a nice smooth image. And that's just normal. But then you can control the gimbal through the remote, so you can actually change the pitch. You can do like nice streaming movie shots, like fly along and then bring the camera down and things like that. So like what I'm doing now, I'm aiming the gimbal down and then I'm aiming the gimbal all the way back up again. So you can see it's finishes there. That's max, that's right up, and then bang, straight up. So this is gimbal maxed up and now I'm not touching it.
Wow.
As you can see, everyone over here has solar panels. Looks kind of cool on this footage.
And still the horizon line is at half. It's on half the. Still see it.
Yeah, and it will just keep rising.
Yeah, it's not going down at all.
I would guess, if I'm just from observationally, if you've got a mile to the shoreline. Sorry, if you got a mile to this observation, if you got a mile to the shoreline, probably you're seeing out probably at least, I would guess, 10 miles out to the horizon. Roughly, would that seem? Would that be a good guesstimate?
It's hard to say. It's pretty far, man. Yeah, like obviously perspective comes in and like the vanishing point and everything like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's pretty far.
It'd be nice if there was some kind of landmark out there so you could tell.
Yeah, that Rottnest one that I did, maybe I should try and see if I can replicate this footage, but do it where Rottnest can come into view, so then we can have a bearing and know, okay, there's the island. That's going to be, what, 15K out. And then, whatever the space is between, you can kind of work it out. Maybe that'll be my next project. You can see this one's a lot more stable. This drone's a lot better. Pretty lucky where I live too. Beach is pretty good.
I remember when I was younger, and there used to be a plane that would fly over our estate when I was a kid, and a few weeks later, a bloke would come around trying to sell you pictures of your house from above. There'd be like 10 houses in the picture, so that you'd have a bit of direction and locality and relativity to your picture, and also that you could sell it on to different people if you didn't want it. I used to think it was well good. Now it's like you can just get it all the time on Google Earth.
Right, I've gone quiet for the last 10 minutes because I'm looking for a particular clip from my perspective, Rory Cooper, and I just cannot find it. So somewhere amongst his videos, he's got like a drone rising up or a hot air balloon graphic illustration compared to a flat plane. So you've got the ball falling away, as we've just been describing, versus the horizon rising with you. I just can't find it. If somebody in the chat knows where that is in my perspectives collection of videos, that'd be handy, but I've just searched through and I couldn't find it.
Well, it was compared on Walter Bisslin's calculator by heliocentric suicide, and he demonstrates that the Walter Bisslin calculator shows that on a flat plane it should rise with you, but on the ball model it should drop away. It should start dropping away in a gradual downward progression the higher you get, linear. But obviously it doesn't do it. So it's like, how are the ballers going to explain that?
This is a little bit off topic, but I thought I'd just ask, do you guys know who T.J. Jones is?
Ring a bell. The name is vaguely familiar.
He just left a comment on my channel. Says, "Eyes open. Where the real flat Earth map? ? Your turn. $46,000 for the real flat Earth map. Challenge over a year and no winner. Wonder why."
There's no obligation on us to produce a map. What we're asking is, how do you know the shape of the Earth? Not we know what the shape of the Earth is. We're asking, how do you know what shape the Earth is? And critically analysing the evidence that's submitted that proves ball from all aspects: curvature, axial rotation, all the housekeeping points. We don't have to redesign science. We're just trying to point out that we're not being told the truth.
We have to only look back in history and you can find a flat Earth map pretty easily.
I might go back to Hereford. So at Hereford Cathedral, Matt in Lite and myself went out 3 years ago, I think it would have been, to see the Mapper Monday, which is a flat Earth map, but it hasn't come from a global projection. So it's not like the azimuthal equidistant projection, which is a global projection. It's a true flat Earth map. Now, it's hundreds of years old, so it's far from accurate, but ultimately speaking, it's a true flat Earth map that in no way asserts the Earth is a sphere. And we may go back. So I've been talking to Martin recently and saying, why don't we go back? I'm sure we'd get more than just you, me, and one other dude if we went back again.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And you may also have a different interpretation based on like recent knowledge rather than just whatever it was back at the time when you did it.
Nobody knew what flat Earth was back when me and Martin did it. You know, it wasn't a huge subject. It was it was a fledgling subject back then.
You know, I thought it would be one way to do it is through the nautical maps, but trying to piece those together, because every time I've ever looked into it, it would probably take you weeks and months and years trying to piece it all together, you know, making sure the scale was right and make sure all the measurements were right. But I think that might be one way to do it, is through nautical maps.
Shout out to Jason Abbott for the super chat. Thank you very much indeed for your support. Really appreciate it. Right, got quite a lot of quiet contemplation on the panel. There might be desperate ballers trying to join, and we've got a full panel of nobody talking.
Sorry, man. I'm just trying to render this second video.
I'm trying to find a couple of clips too.
And I'm looking for somebody in chat.
I was looking for your Rory Cooper clip, but I have a question. Maybe we can, until we find it. When we see a rainbow, it has a shape of an arc, half a circle, correct?
Yeah.
And some of the videos and research I've done, it needs a reflector. So what's reflecting it? Now, we say you can't have gas pressure without a container. So keep that in the back of your mind. But I remember in school where we had prisms and we would shine light through a prism, or we let the sunlight hit the prism through the classroom window and it would cast a rainbow in the classroom. So it's obvious that with a reflector, you can have an indoor rainbow through a prism type of device. But my question is, when it rains, you have water droplets pretty much everywhere in the sky. Why does the rainbow have an arc rather than a massive straight or block?
It's because it's the angle, and what it is just showing half the circle. And basically, when you're looking at this medium, at the gas medium, it's like going to Celebration Walt Disney, and you see like a fog machine, and yet you're able to post through a an actual hologram to it. So you're really looking at it as if, as of an imaginary wall. But really, typically, it's it's the sun is not there; it's really above.
Right, but let me be more precise. When I water and the sun's behind me through my hose and I water, I could always create a rainbow. But the sun's got to be behind me. Mm-hmm. My question is more precise. If there's water droplets everywhere, and in some articles it says it's the refraction of the water, why does it always take the shape of an arc instead of some other shape? Since water's everywhere, why is it always only an arc?
I see what you're saying.
And since it's got to be reflecting,
say, in a vacuum chamber, why do things always fall down? Ignore the fact that it's a more dense position. They'll just call it down. Wonder why rainbows are round.
Well, this goes back to our question. You can't have gas pressure without a container, so maybe the container is that shape. And it's reflecting off it. It's possible.
I always look on rainbows and remember what I was told as a kid. Every time I see a rainbow, it reminds me of what I was told, which was, it's God's promise that he'll never flood the world again. I often wonder whether or not it's a sign of what is above us.
Well, it's interesting you bring that story because prior to the flood, it had never rained on the earth. It always started the day with a mist.
How do you know that?
Well, that's in the scripture. It says it before the flood.
Well, that doesn't make it true, though, does it? Unless we can prove that it is true.
Well,
I don't like relying on scriptures for stuff.
No, you just said the story, and the story comes from the same scripture. So I'm just filling in that the first rain was at the time of the flood. It had not rained on the earth.
So we do have Ebon on the panel.
Hold on, I want to round that point out. We don't know the answer because we don't know what the sky is. That's the answer. We don't know what the sky is. Anyone know what the sky is? Hands up.
I don't know what the sky is.
I don't. Figuring it out.
I have no idea.
It's a sky vacuum. I know it's a vacuum.
It's not a vacuum. That defies the second law of thermodynamics. The gas would fill the space, so it's definitely not a vacuum as asserted in the heliocentric bullshit. But beyond that, none of us know what the sky is. That's why I get so touchy when people try to attribute dome to me. It's like, no, I don't know what the sky is, and I'm not going to ever assert that I do. However, what I do know is that it's not a vacuum. The gas would fill that space. But it does intrigue me. It was one of the first questions I asked. Why is the sky blue? Anybody? Don't give me the bullshit rhetoric. I know it already.
I'm going to go with noble gases. Power being passed through the noble gases causing a discharge. I know that's not the heliocentric model.
Lovely
I
guess.
say the sky is blue because it's sad.
Because it's sad.
And
I say it's happy.
And my answer would be that the sky is just what it is for experience. This is just me personally. I would never try to figure out why it's blue. I just accept the way it presents itself.
Well, my statement about the rainbow wasn't to say it is this or that. I'm asking how a rainbow is made indoors. They need a reflector. So outdoors, what's reflecting? What's causing it? What's causing that shape?
Yeah, you need a reflection indoor. That's right.
So that's my question. It's like, okay, it's got a shape, so it's reflecting off of something, and it's got this nice arc shape. So could that be, because we don't know, we're not up there, could that be the container causing that? As it bounces up against it, I don't know.
I think he's saying it's a clue because I can understand what he's saying because I've seen a rainbow in my phone when a light's shining on it. It doesn't look circular. It actually takes the shape of the my phone, and it looks more like a square when it's reflecting off of it. So I think he's just saying it's a clue. It could be a clue to what the what's going on up there.
Shout out to Stick One Bronx for the super chat. Thank you very much indeed.
Verify it, so it really doesn't matter. You can speculate all day about what a rainbow is, but unless you can verify it, you're just speculating. So my position is a rainbow is a rainbow. You observe it, accept it. That's it.
Well, if we had that system of philosophy, we wouldn't have a flat earth debate channel because all we'd be doing is speculating.
And possibly we may not have a conclusion either.
Right. You're not always going to find the answers. Mystery doesn't mean contradiction. It could be just a mystery to us, but it's not synonymous with contradiction. Just because
it's a worthy conversation because there's plenty of speculation that can cause contradiction, that can easily be pulled to pieces. So assertions about how, I don't know of any to cite, but if there was one.
How a mass can attract a mass.
Right, but no one's saying it's proof. We're just asking questions. So my question, Nathan, is this. Since they say it's a vacuum of space out there, which doesn't exist, how does the rainbow form when there is no container and there's a vacuum? What is it bouncing off of? It's just a thought.
Well, turn it into a statement. Just make it a statement rather than a question.
Okay. Based on indoor testing of how to cast a rainbow, they need a reflector, a mirror inside of a bowl, and then they shine a light and boom, there's a rainbow. So we go outdoors and we don't have that mirror where we manipulate it with a mirror in an indoor test, but outdoor, when it rains, it appears. So what is acting as the reflector?
I did it again. You asked a question. So the necessary...
No, well, here's my statement. So the heliocentric model says there's a vacuum. Okay, well, if there's nothing, if it goes forever in the vacuum, which I don't believe, where's the reflector? There's nothing for it to bounce off.
It's still a question. So I'll phrase it. This is me paraphrasing you as opposed to my statement. But what you're saying is the necessary antecedent for a rainbow is a reflector. So therefore, if it's always required in order to produce a rainbow, there must be the necessary antecedent of a reflector in the sky for their rainbow to appear in the first instance, because the necessary antecedent is that reflector.
Well said.
Was that a link to one of your videos, Mind Warped? Because I'll spam it in the chat.
I don't think it's the reflector that's necessary. I think it's reflected light. The light itself can be reflected.
Say again, Anthony.
I'm not sure that the reflector is the important bit. I think that the important bit is that the light is reflected off something.
Right, but it's always got an arc shape. So why not a zigzag, or why not 5 parallel lines? Why is it always this arc shape?
I've never seen anything when I've read about rainbows, and even in the heliocentric explanation of what causes the shape, that's always ice crystal. That's all I've ever seen. I've never seen anything else.
Well, therein lies the question. What causes the shape?
I've just spammed your link to this video. So this video that's playing out to the audience currently. Check it out. Go and subscribe to Mind Warped.
Thanks, guys. Be appreciated. Do what I can.
So what I'm going to do now is round out the live show and tell the people that we're going to have another live show afterwards, but there will be an after show. So if you're watching this on Nathan Oakley, stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Hopefully, in the break, I can inject some energy into the panel of 9 people who are very, very subdued at the moment. We shall see. We live in hope. As I say, if you're watching this on Nathan Oakley, do stay tuned for that little pep talk, because it will be part of the after show. If you'd like to keep yourself occupied between these two live debates, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum. Massive thank you to all who tuned in to this live debate on Nathan Oakley 1980. This is where we bid you farewell. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Evidence of what?
Ah,
So
Travis.
fuck all then.
Hopefully you can inject some energy into these guys.
Well, I can inject some energy right here. One of the things that's happening a lot, and one of the problems that I see happening, just like with the heliocentric model, they start asking unnecessary questions. Reality does not need to be asked all these questions. Reality does what it does way before people, like say a person is born. Reality does what it does, and after they're born, reality still does what it does. So asking all of these questions are just not, they're just unnecessary. Let reality just do its thing, experience it, and let that be. That's just my take.
Well, I've got a suggestion for what we could do if you want a bit of colour injecting, Nathan. Let's
Yeah,
just
I'm all for
inject Arwen into the Let's just inject Arwen into the conversation. I'm sure Arwen and Slick will make it colourful.
Right. I didn't say I wanted a row.
Some shows are quieter than others, man. Some days are quiet.
That's true.
And this thing that you keep bringing up, Anthony, with me and Arwen, this is not a me and Arwen thing. This is a thing where Arwen keeps making statements that are just very misleading. And the whole point of it, I'm not finished yet. I'm not finished yet. And the whole point of a show like this is to not let those kind of things slide by. So that's what I'm doing. This is not a thing of Arwen and me. So I would really appreciate it if you stop doing that.
It does seem to be you and Arwen, or Arwen and you, whichever way round.
No, it's not me. No, hold on. No, it's not me and Arwen. It's me and a whole bunch of you on this panel. You, Ranty, Chocolate, Arwen. It's a bunch of you. It's not just him.
I think Riley's jealous.
So
Well,
yesterday you made the assertion that Arwen said something about the sun. You asked Nathan to go back and listen to it. Did you happen to go back and listen to it yourself?
I didn't have to go back and listen to it because I heard it when he said it the first time.
That's not what I asked you. Did you go back and listen to it yourself?
No, I didn't have to. I heard it the first time. No, I didn't go back and listen to it. Did you?
Well, no, I did not. But Nathan, did you go back and listen?
Actually, no. I was doing other things when the start of the show came, and that bit came and went. And then when it was discussed exactly as you are now, you saying, you'll go back and listen to it. Well, no, I didn't. Sorry.
One thing that I did notice is that as soon as I made the statement, before I even finished the statement, 4 people jumped up and said that I was wrong. I noticed that.
I've never heard Arwen referring to the sun the way you said that he did.
But I heard
the plain truth. Travis backed Slick James' assertion.
What?
There you go. Shame on you, Travis.
What?
Right, because Travis even said it yesterday. He said, I'm surprised you didn't say anything when he said it. And the reason that I didn't say anything was just because I didn't want to make the show about me like it happened the day before. So I tried to bite my tongue. But as I was sitting there biting my tongue, it was eating at me that I let that slide by.
Earth Flattener, what'd you say about me?
He had a big nose.
You backed him. So when it was claimed that Arwen had said, I can't even remember what he said.
I backed him.
You backed Slick.
What Arwen said was that the Earth. He said the sun is not a thing. Those were his exact words.
Right, I'm gonna go find this thing now. I'll be back in a minute.
What's wrong? What's wrong with Arwen having his opinion, Slick?
It's not the thing that he has an opinion. He's making a statement that's misleading. To say that the sun is not a thing, that means that you have verified this somehow. When has Arwen ever verified that the sun is not a thing?
Well, when I ask you how you verify, you duck the question. You don't even tell me how you verify anything.
Listen, that's because that's a vague question. Ask me how I verify something. Hold on, let me finish. Then give me something specific how I verify. See, we're talking about the sun. That's a specific thing. Now, you just hit me with this vague thing. Well, how do you verify anything? Anything is very vague. The sun is very specific. Do you understand the difference?
I understand the difference. I'm trying to figure out why you duck the questions and then get on Arwen's case.
I don't duck any questions. You're asking me a vague question. What Arwen talked about was something that was very specific. And I take the sun very personally, if that's okay with you.
Well, it's interesting that you say all this. And then when we try to go and dig deep and get definitions from you, You're talking vague terms and don't define anything and don't verify. So you have a double standard, the way I see it.
Yeah, I understand what the way you say it, but that's not what it is. What it is, what the problem is, when you ask a question, you don't get the answer that you're looking for. And that's a problem for you. It's a problem for a lot of people, not just on this panel, but other places too. So you have expectations that I don't meet.
No, that's not why I asked you a question. I'd just like a straight answer.
I give you a straight answer.
Just let you guys know. I found the part where Arwin said what he said yesterday, and when you're ready, come back to me and we'll settle this one.
You can settle it now.
Okay then. Slick, you're wrong. Arwin did not say what you think he said. What
Okay,
Arwin
what did he
said.
say?
I'm going to play it now. You'll hear it. What Arwin actually said. If you listen carefully to what he says there is no measurable distance to the sun. Then he says, listen, but it's not a thing. So what he's not referring to the sun not being a thing. He's referring to...
Why don't you just play it?
I will. Don't interrupt me while I'm explaining so you can hear it when you're listening for it. He says there's no measurable distance to, and then he says, listen, it's not a thing. So what he's talking about is the distance to the sun being not a thing. That's what he's referring to. And I think you've misunderstood or misinterpreted. But either way, let's hear what he says. And then we can make a decision based on this. Bear with me.
Sure of it.
Anyway, what about the distance to the sun? Any evidence of that being sucked off?
No.
There is no measurable distance to the sun. Because it's not.
I'm just. Because there is no measurable distance to the sun, and he says, and then he says because it's not a thing, and I think he's referring to the distance to the sun being not a thing.
Okay, but Anthony, here's the problem. Nobody cares what you think. See, you're trying to add on what you think like it has some weight. It doesn't.
And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who've joined us in the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, for tuning in, smashing the super chat, hopefully, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, all that good stuff. If you'd like to keep yourself occupied after this premiere is over, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum. Obviously, a massive thank you to all of today's debating panel for making this debate possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!